There's a specific kind of doubt that creeps in on people who are actually good at their jobs. Not the new ones or not the ones still finding their feet, the seasoned ones, the ones who've been doing it so long that they've quietly started to wonder whether any of it still counts for much. If that's you, I want to talk to you today. Because here's what happens when you've been excellent at something for 15, 20, 30 years. You stop being able to see it. The skill goes so deep, it disappears. And one day you look up and think, could anyone do what I do? Maybe it was never that special to begin with. I've spent close to 30 years in corporate change and transformation, helping organizations and their people navigate change. And I'll be honest with you up front. I'm not standing outside this one. I'll come back to that later. But this isn't really about me. It's about you and a trap that catches the most capable people in the room. There's a lie that moves in quietly after enough years on the job. It says, if it's this easy for me, it can't be worth much. Anyone could do it. Nobody tells you this on purpose. It actually builds itself out of repetition. Think about the first time you did the hard part of your job, whatever that is for you. The difficult conversation, the crisis nobody else wanted to touch, the decision with no clear answer. Your heart was probably in your throat. You were sharp because you had to be. Now you've done it 1,000 times. And somewhere in those 1,000 times, your mind quietly filed it under automatic, not valuable. Automatic. Now, automatic feels like breathing. And nobody puts breathing on their CV. So the skill stops registering as a skill. It just becomes the air you move through. And the better you get, the more invisible it becomes to you most of all. Let me show you the thing you've stopped noticing about yourself. So you walk into a meeting and you're not really listening to the words. You're reading the room, the jaw that tightens half a second after someone says, we're on track. The silence that runs 2 beats too long after a question nobody wants to answer honestly. The person who always jumps in first, sitting quietly, unusually quiet today. You pick all of that up without trying, and often you know where the real problem is sitting weeks before anyone's willing to say it out loud. You probably don't even count that as a skill. You'd call it a gut feeling, an inner knowing. But that's not a guess. That's years of pattern matching, compressed into something so fast it feels like instinct. People train for years to read a room the way you do on a Tuesday without thinking about it. Or take whatever your version of the hard craft is. Maybe you're the one who knows how to break difficult news to a team so they can actually hear it. What to say first, what to hold back, when to let the room breathe before you land the heavy part. Maybe you're the one who can sit in the chaos of a project falling apart and stay calm enough that everyone around you borrows your steadiness. Maybe you're the one people quietly come to before the big meeting because you always know how it's really going to go. Maybe you're the one who can turn around a document and make sense out of nonsense and put that document right. None of that shows up as a deliverable with your name on it. So you've decided it doesn't count. It's just a craft that's gone invisible because you've never once had to think about it. It comes naturally. And here's where I'll keep my promise and step in, because I'd be a fraud if I pretended I watch this only from the outside. I've done my job for close to 3 decades, And not long ago, late one night, I sat down to take stock of where I stood. And the question that surfaced wasn't, what have I done? It was, what am I actually worth? After 30 years, I genuinely wasn't sure of the answer. That's how good the trap is. It got me as well. The very skills I've spent a career using on other people, I had stopped being able to see in myself. So when I tell you that experience is no protection against this, that the longer you've done the work, the easier it is to lose sight of its worth. I'm not lecturing you from the outside. I'm sitting right next to you. I want to be precise about something because this really matters. This is not humility. Humility is a choice. This is a blind spot, and blind spots cost you. It costs you when you underprice your own work because some part of you still believes it shouldn't be worth that much. It costs you when you let someone louder and frankly less experienced take the air in a room you understand better than anyone in it. And it costs you in that low, persistent hum that says you're somehow falling behind, even when every piece of evidence in front of you says the exact opposite. You are not falling behind. You've just gone blind to your own value. I'll repeat that. You've just gone blind to your own value. So here's the correction. It's simple to say, it's really much harder to actually believe. Ease is not the absence of value. The things that feel easy now are the things you've already done the hard way, hundreds of times. That's why they're easy. The thing that feels automatic to you isn't proof there's nothing there. It's proof of everything that's already there, every hard version of that problem you already solved years ago, so that you never have to think this hard about it again. Your skill didn't go anywhere. You just stopped noticing, and not noticing something isn't the same as not having it. That's where the series begins. Over the next few Fridays, we're going to walk through the rest of this trap. Why experience can start to feel obsolete when it isn't. Why the most reliable person ends up the most overlooked. And how you can actually rebuild a clear sense of your own worth. But it actually starts here with one honest admission. You forgot what you're good at, and it's time to remember. This is the first in the 4-part series, Calm Under Pressure, the Expert Paradox. New videos land every Monday and Friday, and if you want this conversation in real time, join me every Wednesday at 8 p.m. South African time for the Midweek Reboot Live. If this landed, subscribe so the rest of the series finds you, or share it with a friend or a colleague who may need to hear this message. You didn't get less skilled. You got so skilled that the skill stopped registering as one. Easy doesn't mean worthless. It usually means you've done it 1,000 times before. And after all these years, the person most likely to forget your worth is you. Don't do that to yourself. And remember, as always, you matter.